Hi friends, today I will show you how to calculate the mileage of KTM Duke 200 in a simple and easy way. And It's a menswear shop, and let's talk about the mileage. Mm, And this is not just for KTM Duke 200. This method works for all other bikes. The only difference is that as KTM Duke 200 is a fuel injected bike, we have to check for the low fuel indicator. See, here is the low fuel indicator. Low fuel level. So in the fuel injected bikes, we have to check for the low fuel indicator. There is no fuel here. I have just 2 points of fuel in the bike. So, and the bikes which are carbureted, we have to check for the on, off, and reserve switch. And this is the method that I use to calculate the mileage on my KTM Duke 200, and this is accurate mileage. And this is different from the mileage that you can see in the digital meter. Here it is. See, see, the average mileage on the digital meter is zero because the ignition has been turned off. So the average mileage here works only when the bike is started. This just calculates the average mileage. Suppose if you turn on your bike and go for a distance of 2 kilometers and then turn off the ignition, it will show you the mileage of that particular 2 kilometers, but not the accurate mileage. It will just show you the average mileage of the 2 kilometers. So this average mileage works only between the engine start to the stop, but not the accurate mileage. So third that I am going to explain you now. This method is an accurate mileage, and this is the real mileage that you get on your bike. And this is very simple. It is not complicated at all. You don't need to carry 1 liter fuel bottle with you and wait for the bike to get stopped. Wait for the fuel to get empty. So this is not that complicated. This is very simple, and it has just 3 steps. And why I call it complicated is that there is a chance of airlock if there is no fuel left in the fuel tank in the process of carrying the 1 liter petrol bottle with you. So if there sometimes when there is no fuel left in the fuel tank, there is a chance of airlock, bike getting airlocked. So it is a complicated method. So I suggest you to follow this method that I am going to explain now. It has just 3 simple steps, and I will show you. See, one more thing that I'm more bothered is that the cloth. Do you see a cloth here? See, I have hide this cap in the small hole present here. This is to clean my bike. Before that, Before this, I don't know where to keep a cloth in the Duke because there is no place left in the back seat because it is filled with the paperwork, the RC, and the toolkit. So there is no space left in the back seat to keep the cloth, and there is no other place to keep the cloth. We cannot keep the cloth in near the engine because it gets heated up so quickly, and there is a chance of burning the cloth. And there is no other place left to carry a cloth with you. So I finally found this place to keep the cloth, to hide the cloth. If you keep the cloth here, you can keep the cloth here, but it is visible for everyone, and it looks weird to keep the cloth here. So I suggest you to keep the cloth in this hole where the cable wires run. Just keep the cloth there. That's it, and it is not visible at all. It is no one can spot that there is a cloth hidden here. So I wanted to tell you this. Now let's come back to the mileage. So you just need to follow three simple steps to calculate the mileage here. And the first step is to fill your bike completely with the fuel. The tank has to be filled up with the fuel completely. Make sure that there is some space left. About 200 or 300 ml of space is left so that your bike doesn't get airlocked. I will show you. Yeah, here it goes. Let me take this off. So this is the tank, and I suggest you to not to fill the fuel completely. So if you fill the fuel up to here, this will um, this will end up with a airlock. So I suggest you to keep the petrol fuel level up to here. This will be much fine. Not to fill the petrol completely up to the edge of the fuel tank. That may airlock the bike. So make sure that there is some space left for the fuel. It can be just 200 ml or 300 ml. So that's the first step. You have to you need to have a tank full of petrol in your bike. So as I'm running on low fuel level, I will take the bike to a nearby fuel station. I will take this bike to a nearby fuel station and have the petrol filled in the tank completely. Let's now go to the nearby fuel station. Let's go.
Hi friends, I am here at the fuel station and I ordered tank full of petrol, and you can see that this is extra premium petrol, and I use this for a better performance and better mileage, and I suggest you to use the same. You can use extra premium or speed petrol, and I guess I will have 7 liters of petrol in my fuel tank. I guess there is already 1 liter of petrol. Let us see. And I would like to remind you that this is the first step to calculate the mileage in this method. You need to have tank full of petrol. So here it is. I have 7.788, almost 8 liters of petrol in my fuel tank. There was 1 liter of petrol before, So this is the first step to have the tank full of petrol. Now the second step is to reset the trip meter to 0. I will now reset the trip meter to 0 once I fill in the fuel. So I will stop my bike here. Here it is. I will now reset the trip meter to 0. This is trip 1, and now this has been reset to 0. So I will pause the video for now and I will continue the video once I reach my home. I'm running out of time. I have some urgent important work. So I will go to my home and I will continue the video there.
Hi friends, it took some time for me to make the video. I was waiting for the fuel to burn out and so that the low fuel indicator appears on the screen. So here it is. So I will remove the side stand. See, it is on low fuel level. So in the previous video, I had a tank full of petrol and then I waited for the fuel to burn out so that the low fuel indicator appeared on the screen. This low fuel indicator is nothing but uh, it is similar to the what do you say? It is similar to the reserve switch that is present in the carbureted bikes. It is similar. The fuel indicator has 9 bars. Here you can see 1, 2, and the remaining 7 are present here. So it has 9 bars of fuel. So as I said that we have three steps to calculate the mileage. We have three steps to calculate the mileage in this method. So the first step is to have tank full of petrol in your bike, and the second step is to make the trip is to set the trip to zero is to set the trip to zero, and the third step is to wait for the fuel to burn out so that the low fuel indicator appears on the screen so now I will explain you how to calculate the mileage. We have completed all three steps. So so once the low fuel indicator appears, the trip 1 or trip 2 that you have set will be changed to trip F. Trip F. Trip F is nothing but low fuel level. So trip F. So I have run 11 kilometers in the trip F. That is after a, after the low fuel level appeared. After the low fuel level appeared, I have run the bike 11 kilometers. So the trip 1 is now 220 kilometers. This is the trip 1 that I have set to 0 at the time of filling the petrol. So now here's how you calculate the mileage. As I explained, it has 9 bars of petrol. So the fuel indicator has 9 bars. The low fuel indicator has 2 bars, and the remaining 7 bars is the normal petrol indicator. So as the low fuel indicator is has appeared. Uh, so the 9 bars in the fuel indicator is nothing but 9 liters of petrol. 1 bar is equals to 1 liter of petrol. That is how I calculate the mileage on my bike. So So we have 2 bars in the low fuel indicator and 7 bars in the upper part. So we have drained, we have burned out 7 liters, we have burned out 7 liters of petrol. So, and it took 220 kilometers to for this 7 bars to complete. Nothing but 7 liters of fuel. So it took 7 liters of fuel to for 220 kilometers. So it took 220 kilometers to burn 7 liters of petrol. So this is how it is calculated. Now you have to divide trip 1 by 7 liters of petrol. 220 by 7 is nothing but 31 point something, some 31.6 change. So the average mileage is now 31 kilometers. So we can go 60 kilometers of distance with these 2 bars of petrol. So 220 plus 60 is 280. So for a tank full of petrol, you can run your bike to 280 kilometers. So previously I got 300 kilometers, which is which adds up to 32 kilometers of mileage. So the mileage that I got now is 31 approximately 31 kilometers. So this is how it is calculated, and I have tested a lot of times and it worked the same. It worked the same with a slight deviation of 31, 32, a slight deviation of 1 or 2 kilometers. So previously I used to get 35 kmpl. Before the first service, I used to get a mileage of 42 45 kmpl, and after the first servicing, it has been dropped to 35 to 40 kmpl, and I'm recently done with the second service, and now the mileage is 32 to 34 kilometers per liter, and I hope this would be the mileage after the third servicing as well. And these days not much concentrating on my mileage. I was just revving too hard on my bike, so the mileage could have been little better, for about 33 or 34 kilometers per liter, but no regrets. It's my fault to rev the bike too hard. This is how you calculate the mileage. Step 1, to have a tank full of petrol. Step 2, to make the trip 1 to 0. Step 3, to wait for the low fuel indicator to appear on the speedometer. And then after completing 3 steps, you have to divide trip 1 kilometers by the number of fuel, 7 liters of petrol. So trip 1 by 7. This will give you the mileage on your bike. If you have any other doubts, please leave a comment below, and I will respond to that. See you guys. Bye.